What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to the opening day Fulham Liverpool post-match analysis video. And what an absolutely horrendous, frustrating performance by Liverpool, especially the first half. Did the Liverpool players and Jurgen Klopp seriously believe Marco Silva when he said Fulham is not ready for the start of the Premier League season? That was just mind games by Marco Silva, and apart from Nunez, Salah and Luis Diaz, I don't think any other Liverpool player played well. I don't think any other Liverpool player, apart from those three players, played even close to their absolute best, close to the standard that we would accept. And still, even though Liverpool were absolutely horrendous for like 50-55 minutes, Liverpool were inches away from winning the game because Jordan Henderson hit the bar in the 94th minute. But let me know what was your opinion of the performance and the result in the comments below. And the biggest concern for Liverpool is not even the result, it's the midfield injury crisis. Because let's say it like it is, Liverpool have an injury crisis in midfield. After Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, Curtis Jones are out injured. Naby Keita is ill, not injured, but still. Thiago pulled his hamstring, he had to be substituted in the 50th minute. Congratulations to Mo Salah, who becomes a Premier League history maker once again. He is the first player in Premier League history to score in 6 consecutive opening match days in the Premier League. But that's small consolation for Liverpool, losing out on 2 points against Fulham, who will struggle to stay up in the Premier League in my opinion. And Mo Salah is just 1 goal away from becoming Liverpool's second all-time top scorer in the Premier League. He's 1 goal away from Michael Owen, or no, he equaled Michael Owen's goal tally. He's 1 goal away from Steven Gerrard, and only Robbie Fowler has more goals in the Premier League history for Liverpool than Mo Salah. Robbie Fowler I think is 128 and Salah is on 119. Steven Gerrard is on 120, so Salah will probably become Liverpool's all-time top Premier League goal scorer, and rightfully so. What a brilliant player he is. Harvey Elliott came on and I thought he was pretty brilliant, so maybe he is the 4th player that can hold his head up high. But I don't know what happened with Bobby Firmino, because he has just fallen off a cliff since the start of last season. Bobby Firmino is a brilliant player, but it looks like he lost his hunger and his aggressiveness. He wasn't, aggressive enough. And against Premier League defenders, you have to play as a striker. You have to play like you are going to war. And Firmino is a little bit too laid back, too nice for my liking. And he lacks that really killer instinct that Darwin Nunez has, for example, in front of goal. So I think Darwin Nunez will be starting from the next game. I expected a much better performance from Firmino and from Liverpool overall. We were really slow in the first half. We misplaced so many passes, and that's acceptable to a degree because we are just coming out of pre-season. But we played much better against Manchester City. We played much more accurate passes against Manchester City. It looked like 80% of the Liverpool team weren't focused enough. Henderson, Fabinho, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, so many players misplaced passes. I don't really want to single out anybody because, as I said, nobody played well in the first half. No Liverpool player. And Fulham perfectly deservedly took the lead. Tete with a brilliant cross after an overlapping run. Andy Robertson doesn't close down the cross kick quick enough, and at the back post, Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'm not sure what he was thinking, but he decides not to jump. Maybe he thought the referee would blow for a foul, but Mitrovic, who is a dominant striker in the air, don't get me wrong, but he completely dominated Trent in that instance. And why isn't Trent jumping? If he jumps, he probably disrupts Mitrovic's jump, and Mitrovic doesn't get a clean header. Still, I think Alisson in top form, Alisson in probably in his best form, saves that. It loops over him, it looks like. He gets a hand to it, but it scrambles over the line. It was an awful goal to concede, and I thought Liverpool will wake up after that, but we really didn't. Jurgen Klopp probably gave a very stern talking to Liverpool players at halftime, because Liverpool didn't have a shot on target. Liverpool had 3 shots shots in the first half. And Fulham were quicker to every ball. They were sharper, they were more dominant, they were more inventive, they played really well, and also Fulham were very strategic and very smart in their defending. They didn't press Liverpool from the front, they let the centre-backs have the ball, and when the centre-backs passed to anybody in midfield, then Fulham were in their faces. And from the secondary press, Fulham were very effective. They really stopped Liverpool play in the first half. So Liverpool didn't make any changes in the first half, but then we made 2 changes because Thiago got injured and Firmino was non-existent in the first half, and in the start of the second half Darwin Nunez came on and Liverpool looked like a completely different team with Darwin Nunez in the side, honestly. By the way, this game was a brilliant advert for the Premier League football because Liverpool hit the post, Fulham hit the bar, Fulham hit the post, Liverpool hit the bar as well. So Liverpool could have scored even with this awful performance, 4 or 5 goals. Luis Diaz hits the post, and Luis Diaz also scored a brilliant goal in the first half, curling it around the goalkeeper and into the top corner, but Robertson was a good 1.5 yard offside in the build-up play, so Luis Diaz's goal didn't count, and that was at 0-0. It was really frustrating, but Luis Diaz was Liverpool's best player in the first half. He hit the post with a ferocious effort after a brilliant Thiago through ball. Second half, Darwin Nunez came on, Harvey Elliott came on. Liverpool looked like a completely different side. Darwin Nunez back heels a cross, the goalkeeper saved that, and then he back heels another cross. This time, I think from Mo Salah, and this time the back heel, ended up in the back of the net. I'm still unsure whether the Fulham player got a touch to it or not. And let me know the big talking point also, was Mitrovic's penalty a penalty? Because I saw a lot of replays and there were 2 different replay angles which showed that Virgil van Dijk doesn't touch Mitrovic. Their legs don't touch. Yes, Virgil van Dijk lays a hand on Mitrovic, but it's not enough to push him over. And when Mitrovic sees Van Dijk's lazy leg put in front of him, of course he will fall over. But why on earth do we have VAR in the Premier League if they don't even check that and tell the referee there was no contact, it shouldn't be a penalty? But because Virgil van Dijk's leg is out, probably they looked at other angles which you don't see that Virgil van Dijk and Mitrovic's legs don't touch. In other angles from behind and from the side it looked like a penalty, so the referee gave it, the VAR gave it, and Mitrovic scores. And at that time Liverpool were well on top. Darwin Nunez scored a brilliant goal. On his Premier League debut he scored, and on his Liverpool debut he scored. What a player, absolutely brilliant. Just like Sadio Mane, by the way, for Bayern Munich. He scored on his Bayern debut and he scored on his Bundesliga debut yesterday, but Bayern won both games and Liverpool didn't win this one, which is really super frustrating. So Mitrovic scores a very controversial penalty. Mitrovic scoring 2 goals on the opening weekend, and I'm eating my words when I said in my in my opening Premier League Fulham Liverpool preview video that Mitrovic will do well if he scores more than 10 goals in the Premier League. I mean, he had 1 season where he scored 11, but the last time Fulham were in the Premier League, Mitrovic played 27 games and only scored 3 goals. Now he has 1 game and 2 goals, so Mitrovic is off to a flyer. It's a very encouraging performance by Fulham. Take nothing away from the Fulham performance. They really deserved at least a draw from this game. Liverpool huffed and puffed in the second half. We played a little bit better, but not good enough, in my opinion, to really deserve a win. Mo Salah scored a fantastic goal after a brilliant through ball by, I think it was Jordan Henderson. Darwin Nunez takes the ball down and it ends up being an assist because Mo Salah very smartly, very sharply, very quickly slide foots it into the bottom corner before the goalkeeper could react, and Liverpool were back in it, and Liverpool had chances to win the game, especially the 94th minute. Jordan Henderson gets the ball from 30 yards. He side foots a shot and it looks like it loops over the goalkeeper, but it crashes against the bar and bounces out. Absolutely unlucky, desperately unlucky, but overall I don't think Liverpool would have deserved to win this game, and these draws are a concern. Last season Liverpool drew too many games against smaller sides. The West Ham game away from home, the Brentford game especially, this game reminded me of the Brentford game, which was absolute pure chaos. Defensively and offensively, this was a chaos game. And Liverpool, and I'm sure Jurgen Klopp, I haven't watched his post-match interview, I'm sure Jurgen Klopp didn't want to start the Premier League season like this. Absolutely no way. And my biggest concern, and I think how Liverpool fans should look at it, will Man City beat Fulham at Craven Cottage? Probably they will wipe the floor with them. And that's 2 points lost, in my opinion, in the title race. I know it's very early, it's the opening game week, but since Pep Guardiola took over Man City and since they are getting 95 points in almost every league season, even a draw feels like a defeat in the title race, which is absolutely crazy, but this is the new standard since Guardiola took over. Credit to him, credit to Man City, and credit to their £1 billion spent on their squad. They are so good that even a draw feels like a defeat in the title race nowadays with Liverpool. And now Liverpool have to make up for this draw by beating one of the top 6 or top 4 teams in the title race, which will be of course more difficult. But I think drawing against top teams is acceptable, but drawing against Brentford and West Ham and teams like that too many times for a title rival to Man City, that is a cause for concern. And Fulham, newly promoted side, we already dropped 2 points to them. I wasn't too happy with the draw when we drew Fulham away from home. At Anfield would have been a completely different game. But away from home to a newly promoted side, that's never an easy game. And I told you guys, this will not be an easy game. I expected a very difficult, very tough game, and that's exactly what Liverpool got. But Darwin Nunez's performance is the most encouraging. This is exactly the type of game why Darwin Nunez was brought in. He was so direct, so brilliant, and the Fulham defenders were really dominated sometimes by Darwin Nunez. He had 4 clear-cut chances, and Liverpool had no other clear-cut chances apart from what Darwin Nunez was involved in. 3 shots and 1 assist, that says it all. And also Trent Alexander-Arnold and his defending is a little bit of a concern. Now teams are targeting that side, and Mitrovic wasn't sitting around Van Dijk, around Matip. He was peeling off to the side, especially to Trent Alexander-Arnold's side. And teams will target the back post from crosses from the right wing, where Trent Alexander-Arnold is defending, on the left wing of the attacking team, which is the right wing of Liverpool's defense, and Trent Alexander-Arnold needs to improve his defensive capabilities, especially when it comes to crosses. And why this draw is so painful is that we lost the Premier League title twice by 1 point. So if you think a draw is not the end of the world, yes, that's true, but too many draws end up, against smaller teams, too many draws end up costing you a Premier League title. And against a very ordinary team like Fulham, don't get me wrong, they played really well today, but Fulham will still struggle to stay in the Premier League, so they will fight against relegation. If you want to win the title, you need to beat these kind of teams. I'm sorry, no excuses for Liverpool today. We really should have won. There is also a debate going on around the Liverpool fan base that Jordan Henderson is not a traditional box-to-box midfielder. He's more suited to the defensive midfield role, and he should be Fabinho's understudy, but that's not how Jurgen Klopp sees Henderson. For his on-pitch leadership abilities and also his abilities to really distribute the ball and help his teammates, Jurgen Klopp is playing him as a number 8, as a box-to-box midfielder. And I think there are other better attacking or box-to-box midfielders than Henderson, but if Jurgen Klopp is a big fan of Henderson, then Liverpool don't really need to sign another midfielder unless Thiago's injury is very serious, because then we are a little bit short. Yes, we have Naby Keita, James Milner, Fabio Carvalho, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. So we have strength in depth, but half of those players at the moment are out injured or they are ill, like Naby Keita. So let me know, how do you see Liverpool's season unfolding? Do you think we need another midfielder? Let me know in the comments below. I think we do, but if Jurgen Klopp wants to play Henderson alongside Fabinho, then if Naby Keita recovers from his illness, we will be fine for the moment. But if we get one more long-term injury in midfield, we will be short, and that's what concerns me. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this, have a nice day, see you later guys, goodbye.